Thank you so much for taking my call. Recently got married, and we got ourselves into $112,000 of
Woo.
debt. Yes.
Just from the wedding?
Just from the wedding.
Oh, my.
The ring,
Holy cow.
And I wasn't even invited. The party of the century, and we
That
weren't even
ring-
there, George.
Does that ring look like a disco ball?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much that, yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Spend $112,000 on a wedding, and it hadn't even been 112 days. They're already having issues, not just financial issues, but relationship issues as well. $112,000. Go ahead and take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump back into this foolishness.
Yes.
Well, we're here.
So I want to, other than a old college, loan debt of about $40,000, we don't have any other consumer debt. We own 3 properties together. One fully paid off, probably worth about $600 to $700K. The other 2 have mortgages on it, and my husband has about $395 in stocks and bonds.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
interesting.
there's good news here, which is you guys have a pile of money to clean this up. The question is he willing to cash out those stocks and bonds to put you guys in a place financially that will cause you to succeed in this marriage?
That's the $1 million question. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
okay.
Hey, we're here with you. We've all done stupid stuff with many, many zeros attached. So we were poking fun at you earlier, but we definitely know the weight of what you're facing right now, and we're definitely here to walk with you.
And here we go with the manipulation tactics. I do not care about tears. I don't feel sorry for her. I don't even feel sorry for her husband, because somebody should have had enough sense in this situation to know that you don't go around spending money on things that you can't afford. A credit card is not used to buy what you can afford. It's a tool that you don't use that way. If you wanted to spend $110,000 on your credit card, that means you needed to have $110,000 to pay off that balance right away, so that you don't incur any extra charges for spending that money and making those purchases. So bottom line, that's how you find yourself rolling over month after month, 6 figures in credit card debt, and now you both put yourselves in a situation where you're unhappy, you can't enjoy your marriage because you're too busy fussing over this debt. Whose idea was it to spend $110,000 on a wedding? I bet it was hers. But even so, I still don't feel sorry for the husband, because he should have put his foot down and said, we're not spending over $100,000 on the wedding. That makes no sense.
Are those tears because of the arguments you guys have had around this?
Yes.
What has the latest conversations been like when you bring this up and say, hey, we're in a big pile of debt, I want to get out of this?
Well, the other thing is that the day after we returned from our wedding weekend, he lost his job.
Oh.
And he was making over $200K a year.
Okay, Renee.
And how long ago was this?
About a month ago.
Okay.
Are you working at all, Renee?
I am, yes.
What is your income?
I make a fraction of
That's
what
all
he
right.
was making.
So
70K.
That's a great income.
Okay.
What's he doing right now? Is he currently looking for work?
Yes.
Okay. What was he doing?
Yes, he was in the automobile industry.
Okay.
Wow. It's crazy because all of this just happened. She said that he lost his job a month ago, which was right after their wedding. So they've only been married for about a month, and they're already fussing back and forth every day about money. He lost his $200,000 job. She's only making $70,000. They're trying to make her feel better about it now. But I'm going to tell you what the real problem is. The real problem is you have a woman that was making a decent income, but she got with a man who was making $200,000 per year. So she's thinking that she's upgrading her lifestyle, and now she found herself in a situation where things are way different from what she imagined inside of her mind. She didn't calculate that her high value man could lose his income, and so suddenly too. So yeah, she's been miserable for the last month. That's why she's crying right now. $200,000 position gone. And you see, that's why you don't make stupid decisions Like spending $110,000 to get married. It makes no sense. $110,000? And then you lost your job right when you came back from the wedding?
Yeah.
So the one that we currently live in probably has about $235K on it, worth about maybe $350.
Okay.
The other one with a mortgage is actually in another state, and it has a much higher, it probably has about 200 in equity, 200K in equity, but the mortgage is about $550.
Yeah, and this is what I would do if I were in your shoes. If I woke up in your shoes today, I would get rid of that third property that's got the 200K in equity. Okay. And I would take that money and I would use it to start paying off this I'd for sure knock out the student loan, because it's just the student loan and the wedding debt, correct? That's your only debts?
Correct.
I would knock out that student loan. I'd keep $1,000 aside for any savings in case you don't have baby step one. And then whatever's left, I'd throw it towards the wedding. And then if there's any debt left, I'd start liquidating some of those stocks.
And do y'all hear this advice that they're giving her? They're talking about they need to liquidate the stocks and bonds. They're worth $395,000. The only problem is it doesn't belong to her. It belongs to her husband. This is what he accumulated before the marriage, which I'm sure is all in his name and everything. And she's going to have him to agree to this.
Okay, now, thank you for that. I guess because of the location of the third property, we've been probably bringing in about 200K, my apologies, 2K in rental income. That's per month.
The one that's out of state?
Correct. Yeah, just because it's in it's in a good location. The one that's got the 200K. 200K.
Is that your net profit? Or is that
maybe?
Because you still got to pay the mortgage on that.
Correct. That's my net profit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. It's good that you're making a profit on it. My concern is that it's out of state. And then my bigger concern is that you called us in tears because of this debt. So at that point, you're really weighing the opportunity cost between the two. Do you want to get out of debt? How quickly can we get out of debt? The other thing that I'm hearing in this call is, and George, correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of feels like we can give you our take on this and we can say, hey, this is what we think you need to do. But your husband being on page with this is the other part. Do you think that if he comes home tonight, or if you guys have this conversation and say, hey, I was talking with some experts, here is the plan that they have advised us to follow, what do you think his response is going to be?
And you know what? That's the problem. She probably already talked to him about this, and her husband, he's not having it. He is not about to liquidate his stocks and bonds to pay off some credit card debt, where I'm sure most of the money was racked up on crazy stuff that she wanted to have this dream wedding. But I don't know. Let's keep listening.
If he comes home tonight, or if you guys have this conversation and say, hey, I was talking with some experts, here is the plan that they have advised us to follow, what do you think his response is going to be?
Well, he'll be happy because it's my property.
Oh.
Not his.
So he's like, well, that's your business. Don't try to sell one of mine.
Exactly.
But that worries me because you're married now. It's our properties.
Correct.
And so I want him thinking that way. And if he's not, we have a deeper issue here.
Oh, I'm glad they mentioned it. They do have a deeper issue here. Yes, they got married, but they just got married. They don't trust each other like that. And just like she's saying that he's thinking that way, you better believe it that she's thinking the same way. That's why she said what she said. She's the one who said, oh, he'll love the idea of me selling my property because it doesn't belong to him. Yeah, ma'am, just like you have no issue with him liquidating his stocks. You see how that works?
But as far as liquidating the stocks and bonds, there is going to be tax implications on the gain. So you want to work with a tax pro on that to make sure that you're going to be able to cover this and understand what's going on there. But as far as this property goes, I don't want to be a long-distance landlord. I mean, this is a lot of work for $20K.
I agree.
And so if this cleans up all of your consumer debt and gives you a pile of money at the end of that, which is your fully funded emergency fund. So this one property puts you in a completely different place financially if you sell it.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, just because, I'm always thinking about the baby steps, do you have any other money saved, Like just laying around, saved up for a rainy day, 3 to 6 months,
Yes.
anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. About $45K.
So here, think about it like this, Renee. If you follow the advice that we've given you, you're still going to be millionaires. You've got this vacation home that's worth $700. You've got your primary real estate that's worth $350. Just right there alone, you're net worth millionaires. All right. And then, I don't know how much is in the stocks and bonds that you have. You may not have to liquidate all of that, but.
And there it is again. They're bringing up her husband's stocks and bonds and talking about liquidating it. But this time she's saying, oh, just liquidate some of it. That man isn't going to liquidate any of it. And it's crazy to be having that conversation about the stocks that he has without speaking to him. But they keep pushing it in her head, which means that she's probably going to continue to push this on her husband. I don't know. Maybe she'll go that route or she'll sell her vacation property. I don't know what she's going to do. Honestly, though, the way they handle this situation is going to determine if their marriage is going to last 5 years, 10 years, or forever, or if they end up breaking up within the next 2 years. We already see that they're not looking at this as we.
If I'm in your shoes, I am selling that third property and cashing out the stocks and bonds, making sure I can pay the taxes on that. And that's going to put you guys in a completely different place because you can pay off the other mortgage. Now you have zero payments in the world and everything is cash flowing with 100% profit going to you.
Yeah.
With very little stress in your life as newlyweds.
I know, that's right. Suddenly you're wiping those tears and you're rejoicing because you're suddenly ahead of 90% of the people out here. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Now we need him to see it.
Yeah.
But I do like that solution. I'll be honest. I've been afraid to let go of that because it is mine. It's the only property that I actually own, and it's been a cash cow for me for a long time. But you're right. When you put it in perspective and say only $20,000 a year, forget it.
You make over triple that.
And you can always get another property. That's the thing.
I wonder if she ever presented to her husband that they could pay it off half and half. Whenever she was spending up all that money, who did she expect to pay for it? I don't know. It would be interesting to see what they ended up doing. What was her husband's reaction to their advice? But of course, we don't have that because they didn't speak to him. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. What do you think is the most fair way for them to handle this situation? They've only been married for a month. He was making $200,000 right after they got back home from their wedding, found out he lost his job. She's the only one working right now. He's looking for a job. She's making $70,000 per year. They have 3 properties. One that she owns still have a mortgage on it, over $200,000 mortgage, but she has about $200,000 in equity in that home. And then they also have a mortgage on the home that they're living in right now. On top of that, he has nearly $400,000 in stocks and bonds. And throughout the whole phone call, it was a big push to get him to liquidate his stocks. The female was saying for him to liquidate some of it, and the male was saying for her husband to liquidate all of it. But something tells me that the husband is not interested in liquidating any of it. But yeah, how should they handle this? Should the husband be responsible for the $110,000 wedding bill? Should the wife end up paying for it since her husband is now out of work? Or should they split it 50-50? How would you handle this? Special thank you to Robert P., Dexter, and T66. I appreciate you all for your support, as well as Alfonso, our brothers Dark Power and Thaddeus, and our sister Tanette. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.